My screen. Okay, so um yeah. So welcome back. Hopefully I'm going to make go as easy as possible. Just a little setup for what you would do on the course. Is there anybody here that has not been able to get on the course online? Okay. I know a couple of you didn't make the live sessions, which is fine, and just want to make sure you were able to get to the stuff. I had the recordings of our live sessions there, so um, and we're working with you to get through it. And these sessions, I don't have any guest speaker today like I was planning. That didn't come through, so we're going to get through that. But the rest of them, I'm planning on having somebody uh, or a teacher or some other connections that we have with cyber.org or some other resources come in and do presentations, maybe of a sample thing that you could use in your classroom, because I want you to take away stuff that you can use in your classrooms, so, like I did with the live sessions. So, well, we got someone else. Stephanie's here. All right. All right. So, all right, today, quick review. I'll go here. We will Okay. Shared expectation agreements are the same, I expect you to, provide feedback. If you don't agree, that's fine. And, and we're just, everyone's voice is equal in this room. And, I'll keep saying equity as long as I'm in front of you. So that's important to me. So, all right. So the schedule, like today, I just quickly reviewed today's session. We have a meeting, and then you have your asynchronous work, your work through till we meet again. And then we have that's diverse learner needs. We're talk more in depth. We did a little bit on the live sessions. A lot of the stuff we did in the live sessions, kind of leading into deeper stuff that we're do together. And then we're industry partners in October. And then we're talking about implementing cybersecurity labs and cybersecurity career pathways, and then the capstone project, which I will get into more in depth what that will be. Everything we're doing now will tie into the end of the final capstone. And I want to talk to you about how that capstone is. We don't have like a scheduled day, so I will have you submit maybe a recording to explain your what you've created, and then share it. And I will share somehow see a place where we can share in a community, where we can share it in the community and people can comment, and it'd be a way for get feedback from the group along with what feedback I'll give you. All right. So, and go back to so so today the whole goal at the end of this is going to be developing a full curriculum. And I know many of you might have one, but we're going to maybe learn some different things you could add to a curriculum. Okay. Sadie has some other, okay. Okay. All right. So, module C, here's what we're going to do with objectives today. We're going to apply backward design, which we talked about in the live sessions briefly at the end where we did the lesson plan. And we used our teacher workbook, Line Cybersecurity Curriculum with relevant standards and frameworks, going to develop assessment strategies that measure cybersecurity knowledge and create coherent cybersecurity curriculum. This is everything that you're going to do in your asynchronous work. We're going to do a little bit of like lead in for your asynchronous work. Objectives, explain the 3 phases of backward design, transform cybersecurity standards into enduring understandings and essential questions, identify appropriate assessments, and then apply principles of sequencing cybersecurity learning experience effectively and connect backward design principles. So all stuff that you are all seasoned educators, and this is not new, but we're tying it into cybersecurity, and I'm not. So here's what I want you to do. If you want, you can do another tab if you want to join the Slido. What is the biggest challenge in cybersecurity curriculum design? What is your biggest challenge in cybersecurity curriculum design? If you want to join the Slido and or begin, you can use your phone, whatever's convenient. You could do another tab, whatever works for you. Okay. Slido, hopefully it works. I know it's funky sometimes, but yeah. All right. Finding the time within classes I already teach to incorporate cybersecurity. Okay. Overwhelming amount of resources. Interesting with expressing CS curriculum. For me, basic knowledge of the field. Okay. Having time. Yes, as a teacher, time is, they keep putting more stuff on you, I know. Cost-effective providers. All right. Cybersecurity curriculum, project lead the way. Don't need to design one. Okay. Determine if this will be a course or just new content. All right. This is a new subject. Good. All right. So a variety here of different reasons. If anyone still needs to, we got 9. Anyone else? Um, I know that, it was a new subject for me when I was in there and finding the time to do it. You can use canned curriculums, like I use some of started with cyber.org, and then I created my own stuff. Project Lead the Way, I was familiar with that. We have a curriculum from another district that we are using. Oh, yeah, that's right. So yeah, there's resources out there, different uh, uh, opportunities for you to find curriculum to use, which is great. All right. So we talked about this last time. There's tons of curriculum out there. Test Out is now no more. It's actually CompTIA owns it now. So it's a little different than what it was. We got the Cyber Range, Palo Alto, Cyber Academy. There's so many. We could go on and on. Here's some more. But so we talked about backward design in the that our teacher workbook that I have in the resources. And traditionally the design pitfall begins with activities often misaligned with learning outcomes and assessments. The backward design principles, you align your goals, assessments, and activities from the start to ensure the cohesiveness. And then, enhance coherence, provide structure. Cybersecurity relevance supports the progression of it. And then the guiding quote, begin with the end in mind. I used that quote when we were live. And um, so guiding quote, begin with the end in mind, Stephen Covey, which we talked about before, always. And we all know that, the assessment drives instruction at many times, your end goal is. Okay. So the CS teacher workbook, your design guide. I gave you a copy of that last time. You have another copy of it in your materials this week. If you want to make a copy, then you always have that to refer to. The structured design support provides a systematic framework for implementing backward design in CS education. It's a guide towards CS, but you could use it with cybersecurity. Templates for planning, includes templates tailored to each phase, outcomes, assessment, and so forth. Context, needs analysis, standard alignment. Today's use serves as a reference for a tool of curriculum mapping. We're going to take pieces of it, and I have it in workbook packet. So when we talk about um, the workbook, there's your workbook for this module has activities for each section, like we did before when I would stop after each part and you would respond, and we have the activities in there. So the 3 phases of backward design, reviewing from our live session: identify desired results, determine acceptable evidence, and plan learning experience and instruction. So we're going to look at whoops. So the first share. Share one way backward design might help with a current curriculum challenge. So think about if you're looking at cybersecurity, how does backward design help when you're designing your curriculum? What are some things that it helps?
Maybe block planning and how you actually implement it in
Hmm.
your classroom. Student
Okay.
schedules.
Yep. Yep. So Ovni and I were in the office today, and my cat, I had to lock him out because I just got home and he's whining outside the door because I wasn't home all day. Poor cat. Knowing the end goal will set clear pathways. Get to know where you're headed provides overall structure, roadmap. Okay, good. Structure. Students needs to know. Yep. Email that important piece won't be missed or watered down. Yeah. Creating learning activity and lessons address standards. Okay, good. Yeah, this is, you know, we've all been teaching a while. We all know that looking at what we want, the end result really helps us in guiding us. Understanding the outcomes needs to be addressed. Yep. All right. So good. So phase one of is identifying desired results. So when we're thinking of identifying desired results today, enduring understanding, that's where you capture the big ideas that have lasting value beyond the classroom. And then you have the essential questions, which term not used as much anymore, but this frame that inquires, that stimulate thought and exploration, like the objective or like the guiding question that's going to guide them through what they're going to do. And knowledge and skills define what the students should know and be able to do at the end. And standard alignment, connect the outcomes to relevant CSTA standards or the frameworks like NICE or CompTIA, whatever you're working with. So from standards to enduring understanding activity. Now, what we're going to do now, students, okay, standard. Here's the standards. Students will evaluate security measures to address various scenarios. So the enduring understanding there is security involves balancing protection and usability. The essential question is how do we determine appropriate security measures for different contexts? So this is an example of how we would endure and understand. Security involves balancing protection and usability. Essential question is how do we determine the appropriate security measures? So this is what we're going to work on together. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to escape out of here and stop share. So I am going to put us in three groups. Let me see how many we have. We don't have, yeah, we could do three groups. All right. I'm going to make breakout rooms. I'm going to make, okay. I'm going to make three rooms and I'm going to put, uh, I want to have it assigned. I'm going to assign automatically. Okay. So I'm going to create them and then I want to, whatever room you're in, if you're in room one, I have three slides. So let me give you the slides so you can work with them. So let me do this. Copy the link. So you have these. So whoever's, and I want you to, I have a slide that has it will have a slide. You go to slide, done. Go to slide, let's see where we're at. So we're at 19. Go to slide 19, 20, and 21. Okay. Standards, enduring understanding. So we have 19, 20, and 21. I want you to think about the enduring understanding. Okay. And then and then work with, then create an enduring understanding and then create an essential question for each one. So so if you're in breakout one, you grab slide 19. And then the one that says for group three, group one, two, and three, just go to those slides that fits your group. So I'm gonna create it in there. And there we go. So room one gets slide 19 and so forth. And then 20, and then I want you to work on it. So open all rooms, and there they are. So Navni and I will be in ones too.
Do you want me to hang back just in case somebody comes in or anything like that? Or do you?
Yeah, hang back for a few seconds. I'll pop in each room. I'll go in room one first.
Okay,
So,
cool. I'll hang here for a minute.
yeah.
All right, thanks.
So we have PD today, tomorrow, and Thursday, and
Mhm.
then students start on Monday.
Oh, you give
So
you a
today
long
was my
weekend.
first. Yeah, we always have that. We have a staggered start. We have like this one flexible like
Hmm.
day you can take before school starts or after for PD. And then we
Hmm.
always have three PDs and then kids go four
Okay.
days, and then we have 4 day weekend and then they go 4 days. So we're almost there.
Okay. All right. Let's start with um so group one. Anybody want to talk for group one? You had apply multiple methods of encryption to model the secure transmission of information. So anyone from group one want to share?
Yeah,
Group
I
one.
can talk. So our group, we ended up using some ChatGPT just to help us
Sure.
out. And Brian, I just had a question
Hmm.
for you, just in terms of like resources. Like if we were like answering this type of question, typically I want to see what some curriculums were showing or how they address how they
Hmm.
address this. Like would you say like basically using like a cyber.org or something like that, we would be able
Yeah.
to find
Yeah.
more.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hmm.
Well, anyway, so as you see on our slide, the enduring understanding was encryption protects digital information by making it unreadable to unauthorized users, and applying multiple methods um, helps strengthen security in real world communication. We didn't change that. We actually liked it. We thought it was pretty good. It was, it had it had detail, but yet it was general
Hmm.
enough
Hmm.
um, to fit something, at the enduring understanding. And then our central questions, we didn't stick to one because again, like Chad gave us some, these four different questions, and they all seem relevant to what to the standard and the enduring understanding. So we left it as is.
Okay. So we had, okay. Why is encryption necessary for secure communication? And there's nothing ever says you can't have more than one essential question. You might have a couple different things you want them to do. And how do we do different encryption methods to protect information? In what situations might multiple encryption methods be used? Yeah, this is good. But I as you can see, you got kind of like the enduring understanding is what happens with encryption, you know, what it does. And down here is what central questions are, why is it, what or how do we do this, or what is the situation when we use it? So good. All right, let's go to the next one. So we had, okay, we can work on, they're still working on the essential question. You want to come back to two? Or is two all right? Is everybody here? Yeah, yeah. All right. Two, you had give examples to illustrate how sensitive data can be affected by malware And other attacks? Okay. So who's in there and would like to talk to their enduring understanding at least? And we can work together on a question.
Carlton, I'm sorry. I thought I had put it in there. I guess maybe it's only on mine. Debbie helped us to, we did have Gemini. Debbie got Gemini to help us. And we have for the enduring understanding sensitive data, it's vulnerable to a variety of cyber threats. And understanding these threats is crucial for protecting personal and organizational information, because that really is the takeaway that the kids need. That there's a reason we're doing it.
It'd help if I was sharing, so I'm sorry about that. Go ahead.
Okay. And then the essential question, I'm not sure why it's not showing up.
It's up there now. It's up there
okay.
now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is how can malware and other cyber attacks compromise the real compromised data, and what are the real world consequences of such breaches? So
okay. All right, that's perfect. Like, sensitive data is vulnerable to cyber attack threats. That's the enduring understanding. Understanding these threats is crucial to protecting your personal information. And then you have a question: how can, these malware and other attacks compromise sensitive data, and what are the real world consequences of such breaches? That's perfect. Yeah, thanks to Gemini, and it's part of our lives, and we're using it as a tool. So it's there's nothing wrong with that. So all right. So and then 3, we had describe how artificial intelligence drives many software and physical systems. So anybody there?
Well, we did the same thing, and let artificial intelligence help us answer this question with it enables computers and machines to perform complex tasks and make decisions that traditionally require human intelligence, making a foundational driver behind many modern software applications and physical systems. That's what we want the students to understand from it. An essential question there is, how does the use of artificial intelligence in software and physical systems impact the way these systems function, interact with the world?
Okay. All right. Okay. So that was in a nutshell, just kind of help you understand, think of your enduring understanding you want, and then create an essential question that you want the students to understand by the question that they want to answer by the end of their lesson. So that's just a little exercise to think of it in a cybersecurity sense. The phase 2 is determining acceptable evidence. So we're going to do a little. Again, we are going to do a, whoops, let me get back in here with slideshow so I can get slideshow. And we are going to get into Slido again. We're going to join the quiz. We're going to have a few. And what we're going to do, what I want you to remember, there's let me go back a little bit. So let's go back. Phase 2, before I go in here. There's formative assessment. I'm moving ahead a little bit. We got formative, which is ongoing checks, like tickets out the door, or or discussions and guided instruction. Then we have the summative at the end of the unit, the end of the task, and then you have performance tasks, which is real world applications such as simulations or projects. Some of the examples are formative is observable data, collected data, self-assessment, tickets out the door, quick quizzes, things like that during after a part of a lesson, not at the end of the unit. Summative is a security plan, like you could design a security plan. Performance is simulated audit. So those are just some examples. So when we're thinking of these, we're gonna do a little quiz. So you join it if you haven't. And what we're going to do is I'm going to give an example, and then you got to pick whether it's formative, summative, and then through that we'll talk about why it is such and such. Okay. So, right. So if you want to put, all right, yeah, you don't have to put. You can put a nickname too if you want. Doesn't matter. Thought we'd have a little fun in here. All right. All right. All right. All right. A couple more. I don't have any door prizes like I did the live sessions. All right. All right. Anyone else? I think I need. All right. I'll start it. So, and you can still join anytime. Which of the following is an example of a formative assessment in cybersecurity course? A final penetration testing project at the end of the semester, a quick poll during class asking students to identify potential vulnerabilities, comprehensive certification practice exam in the final week, a summative portfolio of all security tools mastered throughout the course. So formative. So, all right. Anybody else? All right. All right. So quick polls. I think of a formative, just on the spur, a quick poll would be a formative assessment. Okay. All right. All right, good. Oh, okay. Now this one shows the leaderboard. All right. So, here we go. We got cybersecurity instructor observes students working in groups, configure firewall settings, and takes notes on their collaboration and technical approaches. This is an example of what? So this is collected data from a summative assessment, self-assessment data, observable data from a formative assessment, summative evaluation of technical skills. All right. Got everybody in there? All right. 100%. Observable data. Good. Good. Ooh, Mark's now in the lead. All right. Which assessment would best help a cybersecurity instructor adjust their teaching approach mid-unit? End of course certification exam, daily exit tickets, asking students to identify one encryption concept they're struggling with. Final capstone project demonstrating all security concepts. Course evaluation completed after the final exam. Would best help cybersecurity instructor adjust their teaching approach mid-unit. All right, got everybody in. So that's it. All right. So daily exit tickets, like that gives you like kids are struggling, they can tell you. I used to do tickets out the door. I used to actually I had them do a form they filled out with they had to write 3 questions about what they did that day. So 3 sentences. So that was my ticket out the door, basically. All right, so Jennifer's up. All right, a student completes a reflection log after attempting to identify vulnerabilities in a sample network, noting areas where they struggled and strategies they might try next time. This is an example of collected data from summative assessment, self-assessment data, observational data, and structure evaluation. Student completes a reflection log after attempting to identify vulnerabilities in a sample network, noting areas where they struggled and strategies they might try next time. All right. Self-assessment data. Okay. Good. Good. Everyone's doing well. This is good. All right. Which of the following is a summative assessment in a cybersecurity course? Weekly practice exercises identifying phishing attempts. A comprehensive incident response simulation at the end of a unit. A quick Kahoot quiz checking understanding. Peer feedback during a collaborative security audits exercise. A summative assessment in a cybersecurity course. Think of sum it all up. All right, everyone's in. So yes, end of the unit, comprehensive response simulation at the end of the unit. All right. So, all right, Jennifer's still in lead. All right. Instructor collects and grades students' network security analysis reports. This is an example of observational data, self-assessment data, collected data, peer evaluation data. So, all right. Everyone's in. Collected data. Yep. Good. I'll move a little quicker for us. Good. Cybersecurity instructor wants to evaluate how well students have mastered the entire ethical hacking unit. Which assessment approach would be most appropriate? Daily warm-up questions with different hacking techniques, observing students as they discuss ethical considerations, comprehensive capture the flag competition, requiring application of all the unit skills, having students rate their confidence with various hacking tools. So this is which assessment approach would be most appropriate to evaluate how well students have mastered. Anybody else? Well, there we go. A comprehensive capture the flag. Yes. Yes. Good. So now we're on the 8. During a live hacking demonstration, the instructor notices that several students seem confused with differences between encryption and hashing. This information is best categorized as collected and graded data, summative assessment data, self-assessment data, observational data from a formative context. What would that be? All right, everyone's in. Everyone has observed. Yes, you're observing it and you're writing it. It's a formative of observation while you're doing the instruction. Yep. All right. 2 more. Students complete a pre-assessment survey rating their familiarity with various cybersecurity concepts before starting a new unit. This is an example of summative, self-assessment, collected and graded data, peer evaluation. All right. Wait, 2 more. All right. Good. All right. Self-assessment, grading how that much they are aware. And then the last one, I think, which of the following would provide the most valuable formative assessment data during a lesson on secure coding practices? Final secure coding project, due at the end of the course, having students explain their code security choices to a partner during the lesson, and the semester exam, student portfolio showcasing their best secure coding examples. So this is a valuable formative. So, right, everyone's in. Having students explain their code to a partner during a lesson, yes, that's like a formative thing to do, like share. All right, so Mark moved up. And the hardest question, which will follow the best valuable formative assessment. Okay. All right. So now let me see what our time is. Yeah, we don't have a lot of time here. So now what I was going to do, and we're not going to take the time to do it, is now you would have looked at those, what you did earlier, and add an assessment to it. But I'm not going to do that to you. So we don't have time, but you know, we could go back and we could easily look if we go back to one of these. Essential question, you know, how do artificial intelligence software physical systems impact the way the system functions and interacted with the world? We could easily think of something there. So I'm not going to do that. What I'm going to do is because we're sake of time and it's a long day for all of you, we're going to get through this. We are going to go to this. So phase 3 is action planning and planning experiences. Of course, we know instructional strategies, differentiation, cybersecurity examples. And then sequencing your learning, connecting theory to practice, and scaffolding and incorporating real world experiences. All right. So, you know, mapping steps, we know we've been with standards, we ensure coherence with progression, cross-curricular, and remember the diverse learners. Tips for success, start with standards, focus on alignment, and iterate the feedback. Returning to standards and frameworks, we talked about frameworks and standards and how important it is to connect them, taking curriculum and supporting articulation and pathways. I knew I'd have too much stuff. All right. All right. So we have a reflection for this. If you want to go through and look at yours and try to think of an assessment that ties into what you did in your group, go ahead. I'm going to stop share. But if you look here, all right. So what I want you is to think, if you look at the PowerPoint, we have well, I know I need to share it because I have the evaluation. Don't worry. Okay. So there's In the community practice course, there is the workbook for this module. There's questions for this section of it, and then I have let me see. So today, so what you're going to do is you're going to work through that, and then if we go into the workbook, I mean the community of practice. Let me go in here and bring this up. Go into community of practice and back to the course materials. If you go to Unit 3, C, we have the getting started. In there is the workbook that you use. Okay. And that will have that workbook will have the questions from today and then what you do each section. This is today's session. I will have the recording of today. And then I will also put the slides in there when we're done. And then when you get into here, you have a recording that ties into standards and mapping. And then you have some resources and to use to help you with this part. And then the activity is part of that workbook. It's within the workbook that you will submit at the end. And then assessing students, again, recording. And then here's the teacher workbook to help you, but everything you will submit will be in the workbook for this module. And then, of course, wrapping up, you will then submit, once you get there, this Google form, you will submit your a shared document of what you just did. Okay. Or if you have trouble, whatever way you need to do it, make a PDF, whatever, just share it so I can access it. All right. And back to this. So when you look here, we have 2 evaluations I want you to do. I'm going to put them in, I'm going to put them in the chats. This one is for so you can get your stipend at the end. So you want to make sure you keep this. So I will give you this, and then let me view show meeting, and then I'll go down here. I'll put this in here for you. If you want to do that, this one first, you can do this on your phone. Okay. And then that's the first one. That is for Sadie, so she can make sure you get your money. And then the last slide, which I will put up here, if you have the slides, I can put the slides in if you don't have them, but the last one is a survey by PDE that we have to submit. We submit all our trainings into a system, and this is one that I think it's anonymous. So
It is, and I got the link in there for you, Brian. I put the slide deck in as well in case anyone.
Okay. So those are in there for you. So if you can do that, and then the workbook you have till our next meeting in September to get everything done. Take your time. Don't rush. This is the beginning of the year. I know everyone's going to be tired and ready. By the end of the day, you want to just crash. So, any questions on what you need to do?
Yeah,
Well, it's
Brian,
not